So on April 18th, 2022, about 1:27 in the afternoon, the fire department was dispatched to a structure fire. Upon being on the scene, I established command, and we began to fight the fire. Later on, as we continued to fight the fire, which extended into an adjoining home, we attacked the fire and put it out, probably taking about an hour and a half or so to bring it under control. When doing my interviews, it was brought to my attention that our mayor, Tom Kattner, and also another local businessman, Robert Watkins, had gone into the structure and were able to rescue some children that were inside. This was unknown to me, and afterwards I found out and talked to them.
I was backing out of my main garage up on Railroad Street in Escalante. I was backing out of my oil truck to go make a few oil deliveries. Well, I look to my left and I see nothing but a big fireball and black smoke. I think that is not anywhere near a grill. That is nobody burning wood in the backyard. So I go flying down and you go to see what's going on and you hear people screaming like that. It gets you nervous, it gets you scared. But sometimes you have to go and see what's going on to make sure nobody is hurt. Because that's one thing, I would never want to see somebody else hurt.
The whole street was covered in smoke. And when I looked over at the structure, flames were already coming up to close to the roof of the building.
The main fire started in the adjacent house right next to it, and the roof was the biggest part of it. Smoke and flames coming through the roof. It was one of the biggest fires I've ever seen in Escalante. And there's women yelling, there's babies in the house, and there's old ladies in the house.
That's where Tom and Robert went through the smoke, and were able to go and pick them up and carry them outside.
Thank God, Mr. Watkins was able to go and get the older lady out.
Robert's also a local businessman. He's by trade, he's a plumber. He's very quiet, and he's very conscientious, does great work, and is very good with solving problems.
He was actually working across the street. He went into the house next door for the older lady that I believe she was 92, was getting her out while I was up in the other house getting that young child out, and I believe the child was like 4 years old.
Tom and Robert making the entry to the home and rescuing the children, I was kind of shocked. A lot of people weren't aware that the building was on fire, and they were just in, and then all of a sudden they started having the building fill up with smoke, so they just reacted and got out. Unfortunately, people were left behind.
I ran up to the second floor and got the young baby out. She had her arms wrapped around the kitchen table, and she was screaming, and rightfully so, with the smoke and the flames and everything. I just picked her up. I said, honey, I'm trying to take care of you. Please don't yell at me. Got her down, took her right across to the Mies Church, which they're a phenomenal church over there. They opened their doors for everybody.
And there they started food and started gathering clothing and everything, because all the occupants that left the building left everything there. They just left with the clothes that they had on.
And even next door, there's an apartment building next door to the one that burnt down. We got the people out there. With the help of Officer Briner, we went up into that building just to make sure everybody got out of that building. Because for how big that fire was, that could have been terrible. I'm sad to say they lost their home. They lost where they lived. But nobody was hurting it. That's all that mattered to me. And I said, to see a little kid crying and people screaming in the street, thank God it was only one child. Thank God for that, because there's another level to that house. They could have been up there where the flames were really coming through.
Usually a hero, in my eyes, is somebody that's very humble, does something without wanting to have any type of acknowledgement, cares about his fellow man and community, and then continues on day-to-day life. I feel that description would probably be best summing up Mr. Kattner and Mr. Watkins.
I am never going to consider myself a hero. I consider myself to be a man. I'm the mayor of Escalante. I would do that for anybody.
I feel that if their actions didn't take place when it did, probably the lives that were in there, they'd probably be lost.
I would run under every time. I would do it time and time again if I had to. And that made me feel good that maybe I can impact one life.